Good evening. Okay, let me try this again. Okay.
Alright.
Let me first and foremost start by saying congratulations to the graduates of class 17. Would you please stand? And the reason I ask you guys and you ladies to stand is because I want you to give yourself a hand clap of appreciation. The reason I say that because sometimes you have to celebrate yourself. If you don't feel good about yourself, who else will? If you don't love yourself, who else can? So I want you to feel good about yourself, about what you've done and what you're doing, but also realize that the best is yet to come. We can see. I also want to thank the instructors of S.T.A.R.S. And I want you guys to know that I am hippopotamus happy, I am dinosaur excited, and elephant delighted, just to be able to have this opportunity to speak and to talk before you guys. It is my distinct honor and undisputed pleasure just to have this opportunity. I want to concentrate on the focus, because you guys want to have to focus. And when you're focused and when you're fixed and when you're fastened on what you have in plan and in store, things will become a little clearer in your life. Great things will happen to great people who have focus. I think about Alexander the Great, through the tutelage of his father and through the mentorship of Aristotle. They pressed and they pound upon young Alexander one thing: defeat the Persians. Defeat the Persians. And if you don't do anything else, Alexander, defeat the Persians. I also think about Rene Descartes. While sitting in an oven, better yet, while looking into an oven in Harlem, he said one thing to himself. He said, I know what I can do. If I can't do anything else, I can think. Gargito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. How about the founder of Chick-fil-A? He concentrated on one thing. He had his mind fixed, he had his mind focused, he had his mind fastened on one thing. I'm going to give you some chicken. And I'm only going to give you one part of the chicken, and that's the breast. If you want a leg, wing, or thigh, you got to go to Popeyes or Kentucky. But I'm going to focus on one thing, and that's chicken. I want you guys and you ladies to focus on one thing, and that's your next step. You have started and you have finished, but now here comes the real test. And in life at times we go from faith to faith. We go from glory to glory. But you have to stay focused. You have to stay fixed. And you have to stay fastened. There's a 15th century, maybe 17th century poet / journalist by the name of William Blake. And he wrote these words concerning the eyes. And I quote, "These life-dim windows of the soul distorts our view of heaven from pole to pole and goads us to believe a lie as we see with instead of through the eyes." End of quote. You see, we as a people were meant to see through the eyes, but with the conscience. But now we're starting to see with the eyes, devoid of a conscience. And this is why your perception as a man and as a woman is so paramount in this thing that we call life. But unfortunately, we have allowed our perception to be polluted by people, by our past, and by our problems. And this is what I need for you to understand this evening, that the eyes are of little use if the mind is blind. But I also understand that the eyes can only see what the mind is prepared to comprehend. You are women and you are men of purpose. You're not a mistake. Last night wasn't your last night because God woke you up because you still have a purpose. And by you being women and men of purpose, I want to leave you with 3 nuggets. The first nugget is this. Never let nobody label you. Because when you allow them to label you, you give them permission to limit you. Can I back it up like juvenile? Y'all catch that somewhere. Never let nobody label you. Because when you give people permission to label you, you give them permission to limit you. You are not what you've done. You are who God has created you to be. We all made some mistakes. There is none righteous, no, not one. We've all sinned and come short of the glory of God. All of us have never crossed all our T's and dotted all our I's. But still, that doesn't give nobody a right to label you based on what you've done. You are more than the conqueror. And once again, God never makes any mistakes. Second of all, because you are men and women of purpose, sometimes we can't see the forest because of the trees. But please don't let the trees stop you from seeing the forest. It's your perception that makes all the difference. It's your outlook that determines your outcome. And when you got the right outlook, you'll definitely have the right outcome. Sometimes we can't see the forest because of the trees. But I refuse to let the trees stop me from seeing the forest. Third of all, because you are men and women of a purpose, admitting that you have a problem is hard. But admitting that you are the problem, that's freedom. And freedom is governed by truth. And truth is motivated by love. Can I say that one more time? I almost got happy then. I'm trying not to let the preacher side come out of me. I feel like Jeremiah. Shut up in my bones. Admitting who you are is hard. It's very hard. But admitting that you are the problem, that's freedom. And freedom is governed by truth. Yeah. And truth is motivated by love. Yeah. God loves you just the way that you are. But God loves you too much for you to stay the way that you are. All right. All right. So you have admitted that you have a problem. And you also admitted that you are the problem. And you have been made free from the guilt and the condemnation of people's opinions and thoughts and perception about you. You said within yourself, I refuse to keep bringing myself down because of what I've done. Because of what I've done is not who I am. And lastly, I need your help. Matter of fact, I need everybody's help. There's an old church saying that goes, I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. There's an old church saying that goes, I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. Now I see. What my mama used to try to say to me. But the streets, they had a voice much louder than hers, but less compassionate than hers. Now I see who's the real enemy. It's not the president. It's not the government. But the real enemy is the enemy in my inner me. Wow. Now I see. And it's starting to bother me because how everybody wants rights, but you don't want no responsibility. You want freedom, but you're scared to fight. You want a hand out instead of a hand up. You want somebody to give you a fish instead of saying, hey man, would you teach me how to fish? Ah, yeah, now I see. And this thing really starting to bother me, how just because somebody's your color, don't always mean that they're your kind. And just because somebody's your skin folk, don't mean that they're your kinfolk. And just because you're rich, that don't mean that you're right. And just because you got a degree, that don't make you wise. And just because you grow old, is not a guarantee that you grow up. Because you have some people who are too old to be called a child, and they act too childish to be called an adult. And our older are acting like our younger, and some of our younger, they don't even know how to act.
All right.
But now I see why we repetitiously used to watch those same videos on BET. And as we bowing our heads, other folks just looking at us, shaking their heads. And then at times we wonder why we can never get ahead, or why half of the men or women are in prison or dead. And by the time I finish, you don't been and forgot everything I done said. Oh, now you see. Or do you? I want to encourage you, my brothers and sisters, from this last thought. Repetition is the best teacher of learning. God loves you just the way that you are. But God loves you too much for you to stay the way that you are. He wants better for you. He wants you to be big, B-I-G, better than God. God bless y'all.